Hi, this is John from Brewskey. Today I'm going to replace my beer line, so I thought why not make a video and show you how to set up a Brewskey system. I have the new Brewskey box. It's working great. And I'll just show you the different pieces of hardware and how stupid simple the setup is. Alright, so I have all my pieces lined up. I have some extra stuff here that I'm just going to talk about. So for most of you who are only concerned about just measuring your pours and not so much locking people out of your keg, this is kind of what you would start out with. So this is the flow sensor, and basically you would you take this is my beer line. You would cut that somewhere in the middle, and then you just plug it onto each end of this. I'll be showing you later on in the video. I'll show you how to do that. So I haven't posted an update, but this is the latest version of the Brewskey enclosure. As you can see, the ring here is an opaque plastic instead of a clear plastic. I think that is a little bit nicer. Also, the material is a lot smoother, and it's here I can show you a comparison, a side by side of the multi-tap box. So on the left we have the new version. On the right you can clearly see it's like really grainy and definitely not as nice. So I'm really happy with the results. And so this enclosure here is what we're going to be manufacturing for the Kickstarter run. Alright, so here we have my kegerator. Right now I have some Pilsner on top, some Duff beer, and then on my other top I actually have a nitro coffee that the guys at Fildago Bay supplied me. This nitro coffee is really delicious. I was actually running two separate Brewskey boxes. You can see the power there. So that's one, and then the other one. And what I'm actually going to do today is switch over to the multi-tap system. So basically, instead of running two wires inside or under the tower, I'm just going to run this wire. So next, I'm going to just unscrew this and run the wire, and I'll get back to you after that. And I'm back. So through the magic of editing, I took the tower off, moved those two wires, and now we just have this wire coming out. As you can see, it's a really thin wire, so it goes underneath the tower easily and doesn't pinch, and keeps a really good seal so your beer isn't going to get warm. So next up, we need to go inside of the kegerator, and I'll show you the mess I got going on in there. Right now we have a quarter barrel keg and a corny keg, which this kegerator really wasn't designed for. So what we have here is what I'm going to replace. So in this setup, I was trying to test more than one flow sensor to calibrate them. I'm going to be pulling that out and just swapping it out with a new beer line and the setup I showed you before. Alright, so I guess the next thing I'm going to do is detach the beer line from the tower, and I'll be back in a little bit. So now I've removed the old beer line and we can prepare the new beer line. So what needs to happen is we need to cut it in half, and then we need to stick each end on one of these barbs on the end of the flow sensor and valve. Now we'll cut the beer line in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's use a regular old knife. Alright, and I've heated up a and if you stick the ends in there, it'll make it easier to put it on the barbs. So just keep it in there for a little bit. Take one end. And this end needs to go here. Oops. Alright, ready to put it in the kegerator. So we're back at the kegerator. I have a good mess going on here. Now I'll take this beer line, put it in the tower, and then be right back. So got all my beer lines hooked up, gas hooked up, and everything's looking good. See right there, that's just the flow sensor for my nitro coffee, and then back there is the new beer line that we hooked up. The final step here is we're going to hook up all the sensors to this Brewskey expansion box. This is the Brewskey expansion box. It's what you would use if you want to run up to 4 taps with your on your kegerator. On this side, it has the ports where you would plug in your flow sensors, the C1, 2, 3, 4. And on the other side is the port where you plug in your Brewskey box. So that's the wire that you ran inside of your beer tower. Now I will just hook this up. So now I'll plug in the wire that's coming from the Brewskey box, and then I'll plug in both the flow sensors. All right. Okay, I got it all in there, barely. That extra gas canister is just hanging out there because that's the only way I can fit it with that oversized quarter barrel keg. Now with that out of the way, final thing to do is just hook up this Brewskey box. So put in the power. All right. And this cable. After all that, I deserve a beer. Cheers.